Welcome to Behind the Doors, the podcast where we take you behind the scenes of residential real estate investing. I'm your host, Dan Noma Jr., here with my co-host, Marvin Cruz.
We're here to help you unlock the best strategies and practice for investors. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned pro looking to scale your portfolio.
We've spent decades navigating the ever-changing world of real estate, and now we're sharing everything we've learned to help you succeed.
From off-market deals to cash flow management and everything in between, we'll break it down and bring you actionable insights that can make a real difference in your investments.
So get ready to open the door to new opportunities and take your real estate investing to the next level. Let's dive in.
All right, real estate agents, let's stop buying leads and let's start creating leads. Now, Dan, leads are the oxygen to real estate agents. Let's just be real about that, right? But should we be paying for leads? Should we be buying these? Or should we create these leads?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Look, there's a right answer to all of these. You know, I don't know, like there's not a good or a bad here, but I think there's an opportunity. Like you've got to consider an opportunity to create your own in a market like we're seeing for the cost of these leads that are going up. The cost of the leads from the third-party portal sites, and what I'm talking about is like Realtor, Zillow, Homes, et cetera.
Yeah.
Those portal sites have never been higher, right? And the barrier of entry to even get the lead is even higher now too, right? So it's like they're paying more for them, and you got to do a bunch of them to make any money, and it's a tough deal. But then you got to look at the alternative. So if I'm paying, whoever to get the lead, and it costs me, I'm paying them a referral fee of 40%. Can I create the same lead for that same cost or less? Yeah, becomes your question.
Yep.
And I've always been a creator. I've never been a buyer of leads. I don't know why. I just never got into it. I never got into the game of working the deal from some other portal site. And so I think you can really create your own pipeline, and just by building it building it yourself. So
so let's talk about
maybe
it.
not even replace everything you're doing.
Yeah.
Like if you're buying some and you're building some, do both, right? Like do a little bit of both, just to balance out your business a bit.
Yep. And we're going to dive into that because it's now more expensive. It's a little bit unreliable in some cases. And to be honest, it's truly never your lead.
Yeah.
So let's be honest, buying leads, it feels safe until it isn't.
Yep.
The cost is going up. Conversion can be impacted. And by the way, you're one of many agents fighting for that same lead as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what's tough about some of these portals, and not all of them do this, but a lot of them, they like if you are the listing agent, it doesn't mean you're going to get your own leads on your own listing, And so that whole piece of those portal sites I struggle with a little bit. Yeah. Because I just kind of go, well, like I would love to have my own. And that's the value proposition of like Homes. They give you, like, if you're a listing agent and you can purchase your own lead. But then you think about that even more. You're like, wait a minute, I'm buying my own lead. It's just off of your website. But again, they're spending millions of dollars to get people onto those websites. So like they deserve something for doing it. So I don't know. Like I said, there's not a right or wrong here. This is just an option.
No, just an option.
Yeah.
But, I just want to remind people, what's even worse is you don't own the relationship. The relationship is actually with someone else.
Right.
And so you don't have any brand loyalty or equity in that. And so it may make sense to create your own loyalty and not just burn through churn.
Right.
All right. So, but there's the game changer. Obviously, when you do create your own lead, you now control the cost per lead. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to improve your ROI, right? Yeah. Your return on investment is a big deal, and you've got to make sure that you're, I describe it in our business as a CAC, right? So my customer acquisition cost. What is my full in cost to work on this transaction? That's a number. That's a real number. And so therefore, then the question becomes like, what do I put into that, right? And this is where maybe agents get lost, is like, how do I even know? Well, okay, so let's say you're considering like buying leads versus building a list or doing some circle prospecting as an example. Yeah. So I know when I buy the lead, I'm going to pay 40% of the cost, like my entire commission is going to go out to one of these portal sites as a result. Okay. That's a number. Compared to if I create the lead, right? I've got the cost of the data and information that I'm going to use. And then whatever marketing strategy I use. So let's say, for example, I use like an ISA, like someone to set appointments for you, or a caller.
Right.
And then I'm going to do some direct mail on top of that and digital. So I'm going to hit them from like a bunch of different places. And that's my strategy for this segment that I'm targeting. Circle prospecting, FSBO, whatever it is, right? The segment of the list. Can I do that for 40% or less of a total commission that I would earn on that property? Becomes a question, right?
Yep.
And if the answer is yes, then I think you should try it, right? And do it. It becomes operational. You have more work to do. And so there are some people that are doing great on Zillow leads and, realtor leads and all of those. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just it's a choice, So you're either spending your time working and you're in the leads and you're doing your thing, or you're a creator, an operator that's building and doing their own leads.
Yeah, no, I love that. And then you can choose the niche that you want to get involved in, right?
Yep.
Maybe you're just working with downsizers or move up buyers or whatever you want, first time buyers.
Yeah.
You get to choose. But then I also read, Dan, that there's a statistic that, when you get your own organic leads, they actually convert 7 to 10 times more than just paying for leads. But
yeah, for sure.
But that's because they know you, they like you, and most importantly, they trust you.
They came to you for a reason.
Yeah.
They weren't assigned to you, so to speak.
Gotcha.
So
all right. So I'm an agent, Dan. I hear you.
Yeah.
How do we start building our own pipeline today of creating simple strategies for new leads?
Yeah, I think out of the gate, I mean, the one that I have always leaned into is the cash offer strategy or the guaranteed sale strategy, right? That strategy, it seems to work the best, right? And I get the highest bang for my buck if I work a campaign with a message specifically to people that I know are having some sort of distress, right? And distress shows up in all different ways. So I mean, everything from like divorce, canceled listing, for sale by owner, notice of defaults, people that missed a mortgage payment, maybe they missed 2 mortgage payments, vacant properties that were now I inherited via probate. All of those things are considerations, maybe, where somebody might be more likely to sell than someone else, right? So the chances that they're going to sell or transact seems higher. I'm going to target that group, and then it becomes, okay, how do I going to target them? Okay, and what's my so one is like, what's my message going to be? Am I going to say to them, I'm Dan, I'm the greatest agent in the world, you should work with me? Or am I going to hit them with some other, cookie? And maybe that's like the cash offer. I've got a cash offer for you. I've got a buyer that wants to buy your home. That language tends to work better. And so I think you've got to start with digital. Most people are digital, and get on digital. Direct mail still works, right? Yeah. Direct mail still works. I cut my teeth in direct mail, but I've been doing this before digital ads started. So we didn't have a choice. That was the way you got out to people. And, at one point I was sending like 150,000 pieces a month, right? So it's a ton of mail. And, so getting a message out there with direct mail works. The hook is a big deal, obviously, and making sure that you've got the right message and the message works. So start small, start dripping some of this stuff out there, see if it's hitting first, then invest deeper into it. We inside of our platform have what we call the agent vault. And in that agent vault, every single month, our marketing team is creating, mailers, flyers, digital ads, postcards, letters, all of those things that you would use to market this way are all available in our agent vault for free. So they're completely free to an agent to go in there. And then, the other one that works really well is like your database, right? Like work your database and, ask your database for referrals. Like if you don't ask them, they're not going to come, right? I sat through this training once, and the guy's name is Joe Stump, and he still has the training. It's called Buy Referral Only, so you can go check it out. It's Buy Referral Only. And it was probably some of the best I've ever had. Like this was like mind-blowing to me. The common thing that kind of comes back in everything that he taught was just about that you have to be willing to ask for the referral, because most people aren't in a business that requires them to get referrals. So therefore, like, they're not used to it. But then, like, when you ask them, they're more inclined to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's something you need to actually like bring into your vocabulary and talk about a lot is, you know, how important those referrals are to you. And, you know, the reason you operate your business the way you do is so you can get more of them. Right.
Yeah.
And people like to give, you know, everybody wants to be like, use my guy. He's great, you know, so use him, you know, like that stuff works.
I love that. So let's recap that, because people need to really understand, especially from an agent perspective, is how do I limit or even have zero spend? Referral campaign is a great.
Yep.
Just ask, who do you know might be selling their home this summer? Who, you know anybody struggling? I got you.
Right.
You know, your flyers, make sure that they have a hook. ESO, we help you with that with our Agent Vault.
Yep.
We give you basically the plug and play for you to drive inbound phone calls. But instant cash offer, again, that helps. Also, social media, right? That's cheap to put it on Craigslist, Facebook. Email your people you already know and tell them about it. Stay on top of their mind.
Yep.
But here's the big idea, Dan. I love what you said, is your database is your asset.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day, your database is your asset. So stop outsourcing, ultimately, that people don't care about your brand.
Right.
This is your brand.
Yeah.
So go get your own leads, right?
Yeah. The one that I shared with an agent group this week is, you know, they're very heavy into their database. And so I was talking to them about running cash offer ads and guaranteed sale ads and things like that. And they were like, yeah, but like, what would you do? What would you say to your database? And I was like, that's a layup. That's a perfect one, right? So think about your database. Look at, like, you know, for example, like our buy box in let's say Phoenix is up to $1 million.
Right.
Whose home is worth less than $1 million? Reach out to them and go, hey, Marvin, I've got a buyer that's interested in purchasing your home. So as your trusted advisor, like as the person that you're confidently put the home sale process in my hands, I feel like I'm your trusted advisor, and I just need to inform you that I've got a buyer that wants to buy your property. I don't know if the offer is good, bad, or indifferent, but what I do know for sure is that they want it. So as your trusted advisor, I think we should at least review it together. We don't have to do anything with it, but at least now we can have a real estate conversation, right? Rather than the alternative is I call you and I'm like, hey, Marvin, what's new?
Yeah.
Where am I going with that?
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, that's not it, you know? So try the other one. Try the alternative.
I love that. So you don't need more leads. You need better ones is the takeaway from this episode today. I would tell real estate agents. So maybe we give the real estate agents a goal, right? Let's replace one paid lead with the organic lead. What do you think about that strategy?
I like it.
Just do one.
Yeah,
just
give
one
it a
per
shot.
week. Right?
Give it a shot.
Yeah,
just try it. Just give it a shot.
Yep.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Doors. We hope you found today's insights valuable for your real estate investing journey.
Remember, real estate success doesn't happen overnight, but with the right tools and strategies, you can build long-term wealth and create passive income.
If you enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with others who are passionate about real estate investing.
Don't forget to follow us on social media for more tips and exclusive content.
Until next time, keep unlocking new opportunities, and we'll see you on the next episode of Behind the Doors.